What is up, guys? It is Leighton back at you with another video for the channel. As you saw by the title, I'm giving you my top 15 favorite Star Wars characters, including canon, legends, all across the universe, all across the timeline. Today, some of them you might not even have heard of before, and some of them, of course, you will know by the storyline. Today might be a little bit of a longer video. For each character, I'm just going to give you a brief explanation and tell you why I love them and tell you why they are in my top 15. So without further ado, let's get the video started. At 15, I have Baron Ampa. He was a Mandalorian in Legends and was one of the most dangerous Mandalorians to ever exist in Legends. I love the armor that he wore, the color design. It's just very unique, and his skill in combat was very, very interesting to me. That's why I put him in my top 15. At number 14, I have Jodo Kast. He is also another Mandalorian who actually got killed by Boba Fett himself. Boba Fett shot him right in the back of the head, and he eventually passed away. Jodo Kast wasn't as powerful as some of the other Mandalorians like Baron Ampa, Jango Fett, Mandalorian Din Djarin, the Mandalorians that we know. He wasn't as powerful as them, but I love the yellow scheme on the armor. Of course, the skill in combat that he used, the battle between him and Boba Fett was one of the coolest that I've ever seen, especially to include that in a comic book, and the details in the comic book were just so cool. I had to add him in my top 15. As a matter of fact, I do have an action figure of him, so that actually is a bonus as well. At number 13, I have the Mandalorian himself. After I watched the new Mandalorian and Grogu movie, it completely changed my perspective on the Mandalorian himself. Before the movie even came out, I thought he was a little bit overrated because people were thinking he was as more powerful than Boba Fett and Jango Fett. I don't really like arguments like that because I don't really argue about stuff like that. I personally do think that Boba Fett is the strongest Mandalorian and even the strongest bounty hunter that has ever existed in the Star Wars timeline universe. But anyways, the Mandalorian movie completely changed my perspective about him. I just loved the movie itself. The action was great. The battles was great with him and Rada the Hutt. Spoiler, if you have not seen it already, I'm very sorry. But it was a very, very great movie, and it completely changed my perspective on him. At number 12, I have Mace Windu. The main reason I love Mace Windu is because they specifically chose Samuel L. Jackson. Now, Tupac was actually going to he could have eventually became the Mace Windu actor and could potentially be Mace Windu we know today. But he did not, and I do think that Samuel L. Jackson was just the perfect fit for him. The purple lightsaber, you don't see too many Jedi. I mean, of course, you know Jedi Darth Revan, before he did turn to the dark side, Jedi Revan did wield a purple lightsaber, but we don't know too many. I could go on forever about Jedi and Sith that wield purple lightsabers. I could go on forever, but we don't know too many in canon itself. And I just love Mace Windu, his aggressiveness, his battle, his skill, his combat, his aggressiveness, his toughness, his confidence. I just love Mace Windu all around. And there's nothing I don't like about Mace Windu himself. He's a very underrated character. I mean, there still are theories that he could be alive from when Anakin chopped off his arm and then Palpatine shoved him out the Chancellor's window with Force lightning. We never know if he still is alive. There are many theories across the Star Wars fandom community. But other than that, I just love Mace Windu. And number 11, I have a Darth Maul, a double-sided wheeler lightsaberless. We usually know people that wield double-wielded lightsabers are mainly the Inquisitors, but Darth Maul, he's just in the Phantom Menace when he got introduced, because the Phantom Menace was the very first Star Wars movie I watched, and for me to see that as the very first Star Wars movie I watched, I just loved him. I loved Ray Park. I actually got to meet Ray Park in real life at Comic-Con 2 years ago in 2024 at Iron City Comic-Con in Birmingham, Alabama at the BJCC. He was a very, very nice guy. And the skills that Darth Maul has in the Clone Wars when he gets the bionicle legs, I just love Darth Maul himself. Of course, when he goes into Rebels, that's also a great reference to him. And of course, the new Maul Shadow Lord show is absolutely phenomenal. Darth Maul is probably one of the most underrated characters that I've ever seen in the Star Wars universe. I just love Darth Maul, and yeah. Coming into our top 10, I have Zeb Orleans. He was mainly known for his appearance in Star Wars Rebels TV show, but he did make a few appearances in the new Star Wars The Mandalorian and Grogu movie. I absolutely love Zeb. His toughness, his aggressiveness, his size, his combat. I loved seeing him in Rebels, and then seeing him in The Mandalorian and Grogu movie even makes my opinion on him better. And so Zeb is just an overly just underrated character as well. I don't think Zeb gets too much recognition for how good of a character he is. So at number 9, I have Rada the Hutt. Rada the Hutt is an interesting character because when he is in the Clone Wars, he is as small as a teacup pig, and then in The Mandalorian and Grogu, he's as big as like Eddie Hall. Like, he's 10 times bigger as Eddie Hall, and then in the Clone Wars, he's at the size of a teacup pig. I just love Rada the Hutt. Of course, the Mandalorian and Grogu movie gave us more detail and more of a backstory on Rada the Hutt. Jabba the Hutt is also one of my all-time favorite Star Wars characters as well. But Rada the Hutt, his battle with Mandalorian, his aggressiveness, his size. The Mandalorian and Grogu movie gave us the most screen time of Rada the Hutt that we've got to see. But in the Clone Wars, it was very, very cool to see him there. But overall, I mean, there's not too much to say. Rada the Hutt is a very, very cool character. Now, some might disagree if this was way too low, but at number 8, I have Luke Skywalker. The son of Anakin Skywalker and Padme Amidala. Luke Skywalker is one of the most powerful Jedi of all time. I just love Luke Skywalker. In A New Hope, when my dad sat down and watched A New Hope with me, I just loved seeing Luke Skywalker get trained by Obi-Wan a little bit. And of course, his appearance in the sequels, he's a little bit older version, but he got to train Rey. I mean, all around, Luke Skywalker is just a great character. I don't know what's there to hate. Legends Luke Skywalker is one of the most powerful Jedi of all time, even arguably the strongest Jedi of all time. And at number 7, I have my favorite clone trooper, Commander Cody. Now, most people's favorite clone trooper is Commander Rex or Captain Rex, but I love Commander Cody. And the Clone Wars, I loved seeing him with Obi-Wan Kenobi. And then Revenge of the Sith, I just loved the Battle of Utapau. He was just an overly great character. I don't think that Cody gets too much recognition that he should. Cody's just a great character. The Clone Wars, introducing him in the Clone Wars is really good. And he's just my favorite clone trooper. And at number 6, I have Darth Vitiate. He is the father of Arcane. Darth Vitiate is arguably the top 5 most powerful Force users of all time and top 5 most powerful Sith of all time. Darth Vitiate's power was just it was just hard to describe in Legends how powerful Darth Vitiate was. His son being Arcane, and those two just being two of the most powerful human beings in the Star Wars timeline. I can go on forever about the Old Republic and Legends because I just love explaining that. Darth Nihilus, one of my favorite Sith of all time. He did not make the top 15, but I just love Darth Nihilus because he actually ate an entire planet. That's how powerful he was. But Darth Vitiate did make it at number 6. I just love the backstory of Darth Vitiate. There's not too much to explain on Darth Vitiate because some people might not know, but I just love Darth Vitiate. Going into the top 5, we have Anakin Skywalker at number 5 / Darth Vader. Anakin Skywalker, and in the end, he was just trying to save Padme Amidala. I mean, as hot as Padme is, I probably would have went to the dark side anyways, but Anakin, he's just such a cool character, and the entire trilogy is mainly just about him. It's really just a story about Anakin. If there was no Anakin, there wouldn't be no original trilogy, or there wouldn't be a sequel. Now, of course, the original trilogy did come before this, the prequels, but it just wouldn't make sense if there was no Anakin Skywalker. And Anakin Skywalker, he's just the core of Star Wars itself, and that's why I just love Anakin Skywalker. At number 4, I got Jango Fett, the father of Boba Fett himself. We don't have too much screen time of Jango Fett. Attack of the Clones, he did get decapitated by Mace Windu himself, but I love Jango Fett, an underrated character. His lines that he did speak to Obi-Wan on Kamino were just so much aura. And that might be a little over-exaggerating, but I just love Jango Fett himself. He was, of course, people got the clone troopers from him, and so they cloned him, and so the clone troopers, of course, did come from Jango Fett himself, and so I just love Jango Fett. The blue armor, it's just perfect. Going into our top 3, at number 3, we have Darth Revan. He was a Jedi before he turned to the dark side, and then after the dark side, he eventually went back to the light side and went back into the Republic. He wielded 2 lightsabers, and when he was a Sith Lord, he wielded a red and purple one. He's one of the most powerful Sith of all time. His skill in his combat is arguably the strongest and most powerful combat of all time, including canon and legends. He probably has more skill in combat than Emperor Palpatine or Darth Vitiate or Arcane or Darth Nihilus. His combat is just so strong. And so I just love Darth Revan. His uniform, his mask, he's just a very underrated character, and some people might not even know him. At number 2, I have Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi had every right to turn to the dark side. He lost so many things. He lost his best friend. He lost he lost Satine in the Clone Wars. Satine, a Mandalorian that he just really, really enjoyed being around with. And he had every right. He even lost his master himself and had to take it upon himself to train Anakin Skywalker. But Obi-Wan Kenobi, one of the most powerful Jedi of all time, he's just one of the most powerful Jedi of all time. His battle with Anakin is probably the best battle that we've ever seen. I don't know if too many people would argue about that, but I just love Obi-Wan Kenobi, the master of Anakin Skywalker, and his appearance in A New Hope, training Luke Skywalker. That actually just helped Luke Skywalker become a better Jedi himself, even though Obi-Wan couldn't train him for too long. And of course, seeing him as a Force ghost in The Empire Strikes Back, as well as Return of the Jedi, I just love Obi-Wan Kenobi. And my number 1 favorite Star Wars character, I don't know if too many people know this, but it is Boba Fett. Boba Fett is just, he has so much aura as a character, and the battle in Return of the Jedi, when they were on Tatooine in the Sarlacc pit, of course he did get into the Sarlacc pit, but 5 years later he escapes, and the Book of Boba Fett was probably my favorite Star Wars show. I know too many people will argue that it's not a good show, but I loved the Book of Boba Fett. The Book of Boba Fett helped people understand what more Boba Fett was capable of with his side partner, Fennec Shand. The lines that Boba Fett can say is just so much aura as well. And him taking Han Solo when he was in Carbonite into the Slave One. I love his ship as well. And, I mean, losing his dad, Jango Fett, had to be heartbreaking at such a young age. And so I just love Boba Fett. I have so many Boba Fett action figures, so many Boba Fett Lego figures. I have a couple Boba Fett posters that are above my bed. I always play as Boba Fett in Battlefront. And so that can kind of give you context on why Boba Fett is my favorite Star Wars character. And so before we wrap this video up, I do want to have a couple honorable mentions. Darth Nihilus. Like I said, Darth Nihilus is one of the most powerful Sith of all time, ate an entire planet. That just shows how strong of a character Darth Nihilus is. His mask, his combat was just so fast and so powerful. I've loved Darth Nihilus. And then, of course, Count Dooku, a Jedi that trained Qui-Gon Jinn and then turned to the dark side. Count Dooku is just more of, not a loud character, but he's just kind of more of a quiet character. And his wielding, his kind of curved lightsaber is just so cool. Him in the Clone Wars, his design in the Clone Wars, some people can make a little bit of a joke of, but I just love Count Dooku. His death, of course, in Revenge of the Sith was a little bit sad for people that are a fan of Dooku as myself. But Dooku's just an awesome character, and yeah, he did make my honorable mention list, as well as Darth Malak, who was the apprentice of Darth Revan in Legends. Darth Malak, actually, he is one of the very few Old Republic characters that have been made in the Lego, as well as Darth Malgus and Darth Revan. Those minifigures being very expensive, but Darth Malak being one of the most powerful Sith as well, and he's probably top 10. And I know I've said that most of these Sith that I have listed in this video can be, they can be an argument for them being one of the most powerful Sith or one of the most powerful Force users of all time. I could do another video on my most powerful Jedi, most powerful Sith. But Malak's speed was just as fast as Darth Nihilus. And so I just love Darth Malak. And Darth Malgus, last but not least, Darth Malgus. People get confused with Darth Malak and Darth Malgus because they both wear a kind of mask that helps keep them alive. But Darth Malgus got in a battle with a Jedi. He got force pushed into a wall. He got helped by his granddaughter up, and eventually he needed a mask to keep him alive. Darth Malgus, his force power is one of the most underrated of all time. His force power was just so strong and so powerful. It's probably as strong as Darth Plagueis and Darth Sidious. Darth Malgus, he's up there with some of the most powerful Sith. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. That was my top 15 Star Wars characters, including canon and legends all across the timeline, with a couple honorable mentions there. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please check out my posts I do on my community tab. Go have fun in there as well. Go answer some questions. And of course, please go watch some of my new shorts. I loved telling my list today, and thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. God bless. May the Force be with you.